Great to have you back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for your continued support. Now, yesterday, William Ruto began his 5-day Mount Kenya visit, and by the end of that first day, many of the government bloggers were over the moon with joy, and they were bragging that indeed William Ruto is still the lion of the mountain. They were saying that William Ruto is still welcomed and beloved, the beloved in the mountain, because the kind of mobilization, the kind of attendance, the kind of reception that took place yesterday was quite overwhelming. Now it turns out that the reason why, especially in Laikipia, William Ruto had a very resounding reception is because of the work that was done by the former Mungiki leader, Maina Njenga. Maina Njenga really did a good job there.
Lazima tumulaki. Popote president atakapoenda, sisi tutamulaki kwa sababu yeye ni kiongozi wa taifa la Kenya. Yes. Sio kuwa accused. Lazima tumobilize everything. Everything, watu wakuje kwa mkutano, na mkutano watu washangilie president ili watu wapate amani. Ile kitu tunataka katika sehemu zote za Mount Kenya ni maendeleo.
Now today things were a little bit different from what we saw yesterday, because the influence of Maina Njenga cannot go beyond the borders of Laikipia, and so Ruto had a rough time. And first of all, the messaging, especially in Meru, was that Rigathi Gachagua was not wise enough, that when he was given a role as a deputy president, he started competing with his boss. And Kithure Kindiki was saying that Rigathi Gachagua lost an opportunity because he's saying, fortune knocks once at every man's door. And the message was, I have been given this role, I thank God, and I will perform it with a lot of diligence, faithfulness, and humility.
As the principal assistant to the president, I am the deputy president and subordinate to the president, and I am happy in that role. Kwani kiti ya deputy president ni kiti kidogo? Si ni kiti kubwa? Lakini watu wengine wajinga, unapewa kiti kubwa, badala ya kushukuru Mungu na kushukuru rais na kushukuru wananchi, unaanza kushindana na kiongozi wa taifa. Mimi hiyo maneno ya ujinga, I am not part of that business. I am happy with that position. I am grateful to the president. I am grateful to the people of Kenya who elected the president.
But then there was some kind of lukewarm reception. Kithure Kindiki had mobilized. We saw some youth, someone was telling me that those youths were from I think Taraka University or something. They were being trained to welcome the president. But if you listen to the kind of reception that they got, there was people lost interest. They were not very happy. You could see that they were not enjoying the moment. And I know William Ruto was wondering what happened today, because yesterday people really cheered. Kindly take a look at what was happening to them.
The president.
Thank you.
Rais aendelee asiendelee. Rais asonge na kasi.
Wapi?
Asonge na kasi. Asonge na maendeleo.
Wapi?
Asonge na barabara. Asonge na stima. Wacha nione wale wanakuunga mkono rais. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Haya. Wacha nimpatie gavana wetu Bwana Kahiga akusalimie.
Be that as it may, ladies and gentlemen, they still used a lot of money. I was surprised to see that there is this cheering squad of the border guys who are following William Ruto wherever he's going. They are moving from one town to the other, one region to the other. They are not taking a break. They are meant to be part of the crowd. I think once they arrive, they remove their reflector jacket and they form part of the team that will be cheering William Samoei Ruto. And this is so sad, because yesterday William Ruto painted a picture of a man who is loved in Mount Kenya. Now, for those who maybe thought that Kenyans would be easily hoodwinked, they have seen for themselves. It is now crystal clear that People were bribed to attend those meetings. People were mobilized, and they didn't go there because they love William Samoei Ruto. What do we conclude out of this? Because the second day of Ruto's tour was shameful. It ended in disarray because yesterday we thought that this is the man. What can we conclude today, having seen what happened, having seen those border guys, having seen the kind of reception that they got, and at some point, Ruto's very closest ally was also heckled. And I know the government bloggers will try. There is some photos that I've seen. They are using photos of 2022 of the crowds in Mount Kenya. But ladies and gentlemen, what can we conclude on Ruto's second day? Because yesterday William Ruto scooped his bonga points zilikuwa juu, and there was that perception of politics that he had that is loved. Number one, today it is clear that Mount Kenya is not ready for William Samoei Ruto. Mount Kenya is not ready. They went there kwa sababu the vijana wanasema ni mboka. They say hiyo ni kazi walikuwa. And I was talking to some of, do you know that some people were ferried from Nairobi? I was talking to some of my friends who were telling me, tunaenda kazi. And they were being given quite a lot of money to attend those rallies. Each and every day, about 1,500 or 2,000. That is enough. If you go there for 5 days, let's say 2,000 for 5 days, you shall have made 10,000. So Mount Kenya is not ready for William Samoei Ruto. That is what we can conclude. Because they didn't go there voluntarily. And it was very shameful. We all know that they were given money. Number two, Rigathi Gachagua will still remain in control of Mount Kenya. Because Rigathi had warned that this man is coming to hoodwink us. Yesterday, after the Nyeri governor Mutahi Kahiga joined Ruto's rally, some people are saying that, Rigathi Gachagua is losing ground. Because in his own home turf, Mutahi Kahiga was saying, kama mbaya mbaya. Alikuwa mall pale kuona what was happening. So Rigathi will still remain a kingpin because many people had thought that maybe William Ruto was displacing him. Number three, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto can say goodbye to the Mount Kenya votes because part of this was to test waters. Before William Ruto went there, he sacked Muturi. And so it was like telling Rigathi Gachagua, I'm taking the war to your doorstep. That is why he was in Nyeri with Rigathi's governor Mutahi Kahiga. But I can assure you that William Ruto might just say goodbye to the mountain votes. As we head to 2027, he's got no place at all. We can easily deduce that because William Ruto wanted to confuse the whole country. He wanted to show us that, I'm still loved. The votes in Mount Kenya are gone. Yesterday there was some kind of hopes. The bloggers were saying the lion of the mountain is William Samoei Ruto. But today, it is a gone case. It was also supposed to give Kithure Kindiki some confidence. But after what happened today, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that Kithure Kindiki must go back to factory settings and find a way of tackling Mount Kenya. Because Rigathi will still remain the kingpin. Kithure Kindiki will not be able to unite what they created, Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West. He will still have a mountain to climb. It's going to be a daunting task. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it was humiliation on the second day. It wasn't as fruitful as it was yesterday. The mobilization was not as it didn't really bear fruits. It backfired on William Samoei Ruto. And I don't know what you think, but this is a gone case. William Ruto should go back to Raila and Mudavadi and Atuoli and Joho and try to compensate for the votes that he has lost. Because I know what he really wanted. Once he's gotten that crowd, he wanted that perception that they still love him. Then as we head to 2027, they can easily manipulate elections. But this is not going to work out for him. He just needs a crowd. Then after the bangled election, they will charge bloggers to start saying that the mountain was still with William Ruto. I don't know what you think, but this is a gone case. Kimani Chungwa and the group must start looking for alternatives. They can only pray that William Ruto is re-elected so that they can be appointed into offices, cabinet secretaries, and ambassadors. Day 2, I can safely conclude it was a flop. It backfired. It was a fiasco. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen?